What is up, my biology from 4? We meet again this week in our weekly class. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you did study at home. I hope that you learned something at home. All right, making good use of your time. Uh, let's recap a little bit. Last week we learned about meiosis. Okay, we have finished mitosis and meiosis. I wish to stress this again. Mitosis and meiosis is very, very important. All right, very important. Okay, so this week we are going into something very light, very easy, very simple to understand. In fact, you have already learned this, but we are doing details this time. All right, so this week we are talking about cellular respiration. Okay, I'm sure you have heard of this countless of times. You have learned this in Form 1. You know, respiration is when I break glucose and oxygen into CO2, water, and energy. Okay, well, of course, this is biology. It's not going to be that simple. Okay, in fact, if you decide to take biology in college, this thing will rip you, will tear you apart because it's so damn complicated. All right, let's look at the not so complicated but still a little bit complicated part. Okay, that is Form 4 biology. All right, so let's look at what is metabolism. Okay, your body does metabolism every day. Okay, I'm sure you have heard of this. Metabolism basically means building something and breaking something down. Your body builds something new every day. Your body breaks down something every day. Okay, this is normal. You keep doing this. You break something and you build something. Okay, so metabolism is divided into anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism means building. Okay, catabolism means breaking down. Okay, so anabolism is like, okay, let's say now you are building muscle. That is anabolism. Now let's say you are breaking down food. It's called catabolism. So these two, they add together, we call it metabolism. So what do I mean by someone who has a very high metabolic rate? Means you do this process very quickly. Okay, you can eat like crazy, your body will burn like crazy, build like crazy, so you don't get fat. Okay, it's genetic, don't blame. All right, so this is building, is it uses energy because it uses energy to build muscle. Okay, but catabolism is to release energy, is to release energy from food. When I break down food, I release energy to you. All right, so that is metabolism. This is not so important. Okay, let's look at cellular respiration. Okay, so basically cellular respiration is to break down glucose to give you energy. That is the simple way to say. Okay, that is the Form 1 way to say. Okay, oxidation of glucose. Can you see several stages? You think it's only one stage? Haha. Fret not, my child. You will learn so much here. Okay, but of course not the full details. Okay, if you want, I can show you. Okay, so several stages to release energy. So energy that is released during this process is stored in the form of energy called ATP. You have seen this chapter 1, 2, 3, all this while we've seen ATP. Okay, so what is ATP? ATP basically is the currency of energy. Energy cannot be floating somewhere in your body. It will be changed into heat. You will die because of heat. Okay, so they will store everything inside ATP. ATP is like basically a package. It's like power bank. Okay, you cannot store energy without power bank. Okay, your phone and a power bank has battery. You cannot store electrical energy without using battery. Where are you going to store it then? Can you carry it in your hands? No. Okay, same like here, you have to store your energy inside ATP. That's basically like the power bank of your cells. Okay, so glucose is the main respiratory substrate to generate energy. Glucose is our favorite way of getting energy. That's why eating sugar makes you happy, because psychologically your brain is telling you, bro, please eat more. I'm getting happy because this helps you survive. Okay, this helps you survive. You have to know that few thousands of years back we have to hunt for glucose. You don't just eat glucose. They don't just grow on trees. Basically, they do, but it's very hard to get. Now you just go to any store, buy any candy, but our instinct still hasn't changed. We still crave for the sugar to survive. Okay, so don't give into your cravings. That's how you become fat. Okay, during the holidays, don't eat so much, or else you cannot fit through the door when you come to our center next time. All right, so glucose is the favorite way of us to get energy. Okay, that's why when you are exercising, do you still remember what is glycogen? Okay, a little info for you. So okay, now let's say you run. Okay, for that first 5 minutes, you will use glucose. And then after 5 minutes, when your blood sugar, your blood glucose drops, your body will start to tap into glycogen. They will start asking the muscles to break this glycogen into glucose. You are still using glucose until like 1 hour plus later, your glucose is running low, your body will start getting into fat. This is where your performance suffers. You feel like shit, okay, you can't really run anymore. That's why when you watch football, after 60 minutes, players don't run that well anymore, okay? They do, I mean, because they are trained to do so. Some can even run up to 1.5 hours, which is like 90 minutes lah. But they can't do that week in, week out. If 1 week they play like 3-4 games, of course they can't do that. If 1 week they play like 1 game, okay lah, no problem. Okay, because glycogen you can build it up. That's why you see when they are playing basketball or whatever, halfway they will drink sugary drink like Gatorade or whatever. Okay, the bottle in what they are drinking is basically sugar water because they need the sugar to run. Okay, they need to replenish the sugar. Alright, so sugar is still our favorite, glucose is still our favorite way of getting energy. Alright, so in human, glucose is obtained from digesting carbohydrate. Okay, you eat rice, potatoes. Okay, plant chlorophyll traps energy from sunlight to produce glucose. Okay, plants still do respiration at night when they are not doing photosynthesis. They still need to feed themselves. It's like your father, he earns money for you, but he himself needs to use some of that money as well. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Alright, so cellular respiration, basically this chapter is a very short chapter. We are going to learn this today, which is aerobic respiration. Okay, which means, okay, aerobic means has oxygen, okay, in the presence of oxygen, which is like us now, what you're doing now, normal. Okay, next week we are going to learn into anaerobic respiration, when there's no oxygen, when you are running like crazy, your lung cannot support you, your lungs be like, bro, stop running, I can't supply that much oxygen to you because you're not so fit, your lungs is not working very well, you are becoming fat. Exercise more. Okay, so can you see those cyclists cycling for 4 hours for like 30 kilometers, they still don't get tired? Because why? Their body is running aerobic all the time. This is how good they are. Okay, that's why their heart pumps like 40 something times per minute while ours beat like 70, 80 times. Okay, their heart is twice as strong as you. Okay, heart is a muscle. Okay, the more you work, the better it becomes. Okay, so fermentation, I'll talk about this next week. This is basically how we create alcohol. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this. Okay, so basically glucose, before you digest glucose, they will break it down into something called pyruvate. Okay, and then in this process they will give you 2 ATP. Okay, they'll give you 2 ATP. So if there is oxygen, pyruvate will be changed into 36 ATP. Okay, so if you go down the route, if you go down the route of aerobic respiration, at the end you get 38 ATP, which is a lot. Okay, if you go anaerobic, you're not gonna get that 36 because there's no oxygen. Your cells be like, bro, I can't do this, there's no oxygen. Okay, so you don't get that 36. At the end, for anaerobic, you only get like 2. Okay, that's why anaerobic is not efficient. Aerobic is very efficient. That's like 99% of what you get there. Okay, so okay, let's look into it. So what is aerobic respiration? Basically, it's a complete oxidation of glucose, which is why you need oxygen. If there's no oxygen, how do you do oxidation? Even the name says oxidation. You need oxygen to do oxidation. If there's no oxygen, there's no oxidation. All right, so it's the complete oxidation of glucose to release a large amount of energy, which is 38 ATP. You need to remember this. Okay, so for all processes, whether aerobic or anaerobic, like I said just now, you first have to create pyruvate. This process, we call it glycolysis. Okay, old syllabus we don't learn this, but now you do. Okay, very simple process, no worries. Okay, we call this glycolysis. Okay, glycolysis basically is to break your glucose into 2 pyruvate. Okay, why? Because your glucose is a very huge molecule. I know it's very small enough to pass through intestine, but chemically speaking, it's still very large. It's C6H12O6. Okay, your glucose looks like a hexagon. Okay, so it's too big. I cannot digest this, so your body will break this down into 2 pyruvate. Okay, and in this process, this is can you see it breaks into it breaks into half. I'm splitting the sugar into half. Okay, so pyruvate. And then this glycolysis, it releases a small amount of energy, which is 2 ATP. Okay, so if you are not breathing, you are doing an anaerobic, you are still going to create a little bit of energy from this glycolysis. Because this glycolysis, they still don't use oxygen yet. There's still no oxidation yet. So you'll be fine up to this stage if you're doing anaerobic. Okay, so you create 2 molecules of ATP. So glycolysis. Okay, so this happens. Yeah, one more thing you need to memorize. It happens in cytoplasm. Okay, next, let's go into the complete oxidation, which is mitochondria. Remember, mitochondria is where all the magic happens. Okay, so think of it this way. Oxygen is like the unlimited pass into your mitochondria. Your mitochondria outside has 2 bouncers standing there. Come on, show me your oxygen. If there's no oxygen, there's no access pass, you cannot enter. Okay, that's why if there's no oxygen, mitochondria will shut down. It doesn't work, you will do anaerobic respiration. But now let's talk about when you have a lot of oxygen, you are doing aerobic. Okay, so if you have the pass, you have oxygen, you will go into mitochondria. Okay, I'll talk about it. Can you see glycolysis happens in the cytoplasm? I haven't go into mitochondria. So now I have oxygen, I have the access pass, I can go into my mitochondria. Okay, so this is where all the oxidation happens. It will release 36 ATP. The remaining 36 you need is here. Okay, so what happens here? Basically, your pyruvate will be completely oxidized to become carbon dioxide and water. Why is it 6? You don't need to know. Okay, so I release the remaining 36 ATP. Okay, so heat energy is used to maintain body temperature. Some of it is changed to heat, okay, to make you hot. Okay, ATP is the main form of chemical energy used in cellular metabolic reaction. Okay, so this is the total reaction. Okay, the overall reaction. So C6H12O6, 6O2. Why is there 3 6s here? This is balancing. Kindly refer to your chemistry. Okay, I usually hate balancing. Okay, and then you create 38 ATP plus a little bit of heat. You might say, huh, sir, oxidation of pyruvate is that simple? Of course not. Okay, you will go into something called Krebs cycle. If you're interested. Okay, oh my god, this thing brings back a lot of painful memories. Because basically, when you go into college, you have to memorize all this. Okay, pyruvate will turn into acetyl-CoA and then citrate. Okay, oh my goodness, I hate this part seriously. Okay, you turn into malate, isocitrate, alpha-ketoglutarate, and so many sugar here. Can you see? Oxaloacetate, citrate, acinotate, isocitrate, alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, succinate. We all have to memorize this during our A-levels. Oh boy, was it a pain. Okay, now you don't learn this, you only learn glycolysis. No Krebs cycle here. Okay, so can you imagine college Krebs cycle? And then when we go into photosynthesis, which is the reverse, we have another cycle, we call it Kelvin cycle. So 2 cycles there, 12 types of sugar. It's enough to kill you. Okay, don't ask. Okay, so ATP and ADP. Okay, so let's look at ATP and ADP. I think I told you this last time. ATP looks like this. Okay, it has 3 phosphate. When I break 1 phosphate, I releases energy. It's like the power bank. So when you break it down to become like this, you use your power bank. Okay, now when I eat, I recharge back, this thing will stick back. I recharge my power bank. So same concept here. Okay, so ATP is formed when inorganic phosphate, the P combines with ADP to form ATP. I think I talked about this in chapter 4. Okay, so when I need energy, I use this power bank. I break it down into I take out the phosphate group again, and then I get energy. So it's like, okay, it's the reverse. Okay, so this is storing, this is using. And you see, I throw a phosphate out, I get energy, and if I want to store it back, I put energy back in, I get back ATP. Okay, very simple concept. This part I talked about it already in chapter 4. Okay, so basically that's it for this week. Okay, like I said, short lesson. Let's go into exercise. Okay, basically this chapter is very short. In fact, I can finish anaerobic also, but why the rush, am I right? You're not having any exams soon. Okay, thank whatever God you're praying to this year. Okay, so identify the organelle. If you can't answer this question, I feel sad for you, son. Okay, this is mitochondria. Okay, so this is the powerhouse of the cell. State the reaction that occurs: respiration, okay, or cellular respiration if you are specific. Explain the reaction stated. Okay, you can say a glucose molecule is oxidized, okay, to release energy, or you can say 38 ATP. Okay, you don't need to say 2898 kilojoule lah. During college, you need to memorize this figure, but not here. Okay, doesn't matter. 2 marks here, so 2 points. Write out the word equation. So, they want word equation. They don't need chemical reaction. Okay, normally your teacher won't ask for chemical equation lah, unless she's the crazy type lah. Okay. This is Form 1 stuff lah. Okay, carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Okay, make sure you spell this out. I'm just writing short form for you. Where is the main substrate for reaction 1B1 comes from? Okay, so 1B1, what's the main substrate? Where does it come from? Where is glucose mainly from? Okay, from carbohydrate. Okay, or digestion of carbohydrate. Please don't say from food. No, that's a stupid answer. Okay, so D. What happens to the product of 1B1 in human body? Okay, you can say okay, broken down, okay, by what? By enzymes, okay, or amylase. Okay, what happens to the product? Oh, sorry, my mistake here. 1B1, the product of 1B1 means what happens to the CO2, okay? CO2 and water, okay, is expelled via excretory system. I think they want this because they want a product. Okay, so what happens to the energy? Okay, energy is stored as ATP or used to generate heat. Okay, when you eat food, it feels hot because you're generating heat. Give 3 examples of use of energy produced by organelle in the body. 3 uses of energy. Okay, for mitosis. Okay, what else are you using energy for? Movement. Okay, for body heat. Okay, so there is. Can you see this Krebs cycle? You don't need to know. Okay, so state what happens in cytoplasm and mitochondria. Okay, describe what happens in cytoplasm. Okay, glycolysis. Okay, glucose molecule is broken down into 2-pyruvate. Okay, describe what happens. Yeah, you can say 2 ATP. Okay, what happens in mitochondria? A 2-pyruvate molecule is completely is a keyword, is completely oxidized. Okay, release 36 ATP. Okay, you can even say it produces 6 CO2 and 6 H2O. Okay, optional, but if it's 3 marks, you can always write that. Okay, so what is process A? Process A is aerobic respiration. Okay, B is anaerobic. Okay, one equation for B. They want anaerobic. We haven't learned this, but you can write this. Glucose, there's no oxygen, it straight away turns into lactic acid. Okay, what is lactic acid? Basically, this is what makes your muscles sore. You know, when you go to the gym, the next day you feel sore, is because of the lactic acid. Or when you run a marathon, you start to cramp and then you get all kinds of muscle pain, is because of this lactic acid. And then when you take deep breath, the pain goes away. Because breaks down the lactic acid. Okay, but for I'll talk about this next week. But for yeast, they don't create lactic acid; they create alcohol. Okay, that's why we are purposely making them do anaerobic respiration so that we can get alcohol. You don't create alcohol. If our muscle creates alcohol, then who needs to drink beer? You can just anaerobically ferment it yourself. That would be weird. Okay, so explain why process B is important, although it only produces 2 ATP molecules. Okay, so why do I still do anaerobic respiration? Okay, as a backup source of energy. Okay, we haven't learned this, but if you want to know, I'll let you know. Someone who carries out B cannot sustain activity they are doing for a long period of time. They need to stop the activity for 15 minutes. Give 2 reasons why they need to stop the activity. Okay, to break down or oxidize lactic acid. Okay. I'll talk about this next week, to repay something called the oxygen debt. Okay, I'll talk about this next week. Okay, and then I'll talk about this next week. This is lactic acid already. All right, so this is, you know what, we'll continue this next week. Okay, I'll keep this video short. All right, I will learn something new today. Very simple video compared to the mitosis, meiosis. This is like kindergarten stuff. Okay, so I hope you learned something new today. I hope my video is helpful. Okay, so feel free to watch it a few more times. Feel free to ask questions. Okay, so if you don't understand, you can kindly go to the live classes and ask question there. You can personally come and ask me.